On today's episode of the SPEMA Council podcast, it's our mid-season wrap-up for season 3. We brought on all the members of the pod squad, Jackson Pretley and Maddy Grossi, onto the show to talk about the season that was so far from September to almost December, all 9 episodes or however many we've done. It's again countless Instagram posts and TikToks, not to mention, and it was just a little fun wrap up as to how the themes played out, our thoughts on the theme itself, our thoughts on the guests, our thoughts on on some improvements that we've made, especially with social, and hopefully it'll set us up with a good note as we try our best to get through exams and head into January with a fresh slate of guests for you, ready to start 2022 off on a solid note. Again, but before we get into the show, I just wanted to wish everyone that's writing exams coming up best of luck. You've got this. You will get through this. The holidays are in sight. Family is in sight. Christmas dinner is in sight, or whatever holiday dinner you choose to enjoy. In my case, it's turkey, and probably throughout the month of December, and probably within the next week or so, that's what's going to be on my mind, including some possible pumpkin pie, stuffing, mashed potatoes, and I need to stop talking about Christmas dinner because Christmas dinner isn't the talking point on the show, although it found its way into this episode for some odd reason. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. This was a fun episode to get season 3 to the turn, as they say, for a great second half starting up in January. But again, sit back, relax, and enjoy, because this is the SPEMA Council podcast. How's it going, everyone? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. I invite you to pull up a chair, sit back, and relax, and welcome you to the Season 3 mid-season wrap-up on the SPEMA Council podcast. I have no clue how we're in late November and going into December, but I guess that's the way time works. We're getting close to exam season at the time of this recording, so I'm hoping that everyone is doing okay. Exam season it's a busy season. Let's just face facts. So hopefully everyone's coping okay with all those final assignments and finals preparations. But we wanted to deliver this episode before we take a break for exams and Christmas, just to give a wrap up on the season that was, and the content we put out that hopefully most of you enjoyed throughout the year. And rest assured, we'll try and continue to do that when we get into the second half in January of 2022. But before we get to that, let's welcome back the gang. Jackson Pretley, our social media manager. What's good, my man?
Just living life, Will. Just living life.
Just living life with you, alongside your Detroit Lions, bud? Interesting game against Pittsburgh.
I mean, we don't talk about that team right now, so there's no bright spots. And
on
Thursday, maybe on American Thanksgiving, we can pull it out. So
fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Depends on who they're playing then. Who are they playing?
Chicago.
Ooh, interesting. Interesting.
Maggie's last game, apparently.
Ew,
Love to send horrible people in the NFC North the farewell tour we did with Mitch Trubisky. We let him throw for 400 yards against us, I think, in his final game. We'll let Nagy put up 50 points probably. We just love to do.
All right. We'll see how that game plays out, and if the misery of the Detroit Lions ends anytime soon. But going on to the third member of the pod squad, our podcast administrator, Maddy Grossi. Maddy, how are things?
Things are good, Will. I'm happy to be in Niagara. I'm happy to be on campus. We're having a lot of fun here.
Good stuff. Have you exam schedule coming up or?
Not too bad. I have 3 exams out of 5 classes. So we got one online class that just has some projects, one final project, and 3 exams. So we're just gonna get through it.
That's not bad. I've seen worse. I tell you, I think I went through the gauntlet one year. I had like, I think I had like the most I've had. I think I've had a 5er before. I think I've had a 5er throughout the I think it was like 3rd year or 2nd year, something like that. But when you have that many exams, it like, you don't realize it till you get into that position that it's a lot. Even with the final projects, it's a lot. But you try not to stress about it, because you know that at the end it's going to be done. You're going to get to the Christmas break one way or another, and you're going to head back for some much needed family time, and hopefully a hearty Christmas dinner. That's what I'm looking forward to on the 25th. Nice big turkey, pumpkin pie, potatoes, cranberry sauce, and hopefully some homemade baked goods. But anyway, enough about fantasizing about Christmas dinner. That's probably over a month and a bit away. But going on to the half of season 3 that was, and a lot of new things compared to seasons past, starting with the theme, maximizing your mindset. I was, at the start of the season, we were sort of spitballing ideas, and I think Maddy, you came up with the theme, and like it's and I have to say it's worked like a charm with the episodes that we've had. It's allowed us to get some different perspectives on the show as to what the theme means to each of our guests. So anyone can start off. What are your thoughts on how the themes played out this year?
I mean, I think the theme's been pretty well. Obviously, everyone likes to talk about like how like they're improving as a person. That's definitely what it's into. Like, I know even myself, like I've had to like adapt a new mindset, especially being on campus and like just trying to like balance the podcast with school work. So like I've had to like adapt a new mindset, adapt a way to like try and like balance everything. So that's probably been like, even myself, I found myself maximizing my own mindset this year.
Yeah, and you know what? When I heard of this topic and when I came up with it, I really just thought it would be a great way to kind of transition from last season. I think kind of starting on a new like clean slate is always a good idea. So that's why I really loved it, and I like how everybody have their own perspective on it. So because we have so many different guests and people on the show, I think it's great to hear their take on the question and theme and see what it means to them. And that's why I thought it would be a good fit for this season.
And when we're doing these shows, it's interesting because the theme sort of serves as the first word of the show. And there are obviously there's going to be some stuff that's sort of universal and repeated, which it's just best practices. That's fine. But with that question, it gave it every episode its unique twist. Like we're going back to the premiere from with friendly Shapiro, and there's a person that epitomizes mindset through their work. We go down the line to high level executives like Chris Shufelt, preaching the process and working hard, to perspectives that perspectives that don't really have sport as a main focal point, but have used their knowledge that they've gained through their previous experiences and education in sport to shape their career. So it's really set up each episode to be a unique twist, making each one a good listen right off the top, not to their own horn here. And then we start going into guests, and what I liked about the guest selection so far is that there's a wide variety of career fields. You've got psychologists that deal with ensuring that the minds of athletes are in top shape. You've got people that work in analytics, people that work in physiotherapy, design apparel, even students, with our most recent episode of the first year roundtable. I can't name names of like my favorite guests, because everyone each brought their own value to the table. But I'm just wondering, what's your the initial thoughts of guest selection, and if you have a favorite guest, guest that you had in the show, feel free to shout that out there.
Yeah, especially our last episode, the first year roundtable. I love hearing from them. Jackson and I were first years last year, so it's cool to hear from them and kind of know exactly how they feel, because we were in their shoes. So that's always something I like to see. And then, throughout the season so far, we've just had a lot of very different, like, diverse guests. And that's what I like, is that not everybody does the same thing. So you can watch every episode and they're all totally different, either in the sports industry or not. So a few highlights for me was definitely Brenly. I helped you co-host that episode, Will. She just had like some great insight, and it was a great way to kick off the season for sure. And then, everybody's equal, I think. Like, everybody has something unique to say. So there's something good in every episode.
Particularly the first year roundtable, there was a few quotes that were all timers. Oh my God. Ruby, like they're like the Chantal and Alex are talking about. Yeah, it's a big adjustment moving away from home, which is all well and good for which is all well and good. But then the dynamic quickly changed when Ruby's like, yeah, there's a Walmart here, and there's more than 2 stoplights, and everyone just couldn't hold the laughter at that point, because you realize, geez, people travel from all parts of the country to be in this program, not just the GTA, eh? So
and I know for me, like definitely listening to the first year roundtable, like I always love listening to like members of council and their story, and like especially the Ruby part with the bus. Like I thought that one was pretty funny how she went on the
Oh,
bus.
that was awesome. That was great.
Like I did love that part because I mean I kind of had a similar experience. Like for my like I think it was my 5th birthday. What I wanted for my birthday was to go on a city bus since I was never on a city bus.
Oh my
So
God.
my grandmother brought me to the one stop. We got on the bus, rode to the next stop. My mom drove right behind the bus and we got off. That was my birthday present when I was 5. So
Oh my
I
God.
mean, when I heard Ruby say that, I'm like, I can kind of relate. I mean, I don't come from a town with 2 stoplights though, but I do come from a town where there is no public transportation, so I kind of related. But going back to the guest, I definitely think this year has been a very good year with guests. We've just been so diverse, like even with Sarah Marie Dory, like SPEMA grad, but yet she doesn't truly work in the sport industry. So I think we're able to show like our SPEMA listeners, or even anybody that even if you do graduate, you can go anywhere in the world. Like you can do anything with your degree. It's all about building experiences. So I think like just this year with our guests, like we're able to like cater to everybody's like interest, and just a great season so far.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. And again, we're hoping to do the same thing in January with a full new slate of guests. But I guess going to you guys personally, like this is your first. Obviously, you were involved with the podcast in some way, shape, or form last year, but this is the first year where you've actually been in the process of developing episodes and promoting them, and then being actively involved in the release of each of them. So I guess for you guys, what's been a standout moment being on on the pod squad this year, but also if you have one, an obstacle or a challenge that you maybe didn't expect and you had to adapt to.
I know for me, like some of like the highlights of like being the social media is definitely like having the freedom to try pretty much create like what we can do. Like obviously we have our guest release, our previews, our episode releases, but definitely like creating like the fun TikToks as well. Like, well, whenever people ask me like, oh, what do you post on the Steam account? Like I show them some guest releases, but then I always show them that one TikTok that we have like 3,500 views on.
Oh Lord.
I mean, I'm sorry, that was probably one of my favorite TikToks I've ever seen.
I still don't get how many. I still don't get how why that has 3,500 views of just me pointing into a camera. But I guess that's the algorithm for you.
Well, you're just a star. And I mean, like even me and Maddy did a video and then we only get like 400 views. So Will's just the star, like the camera loves Will. That's the way I describe it. But I mean, that also comes with some obstacles, like trying to figure out some of these trends that like we can do. I mean, because like there's a lot of trends that like are hard for like a podcast to do. So I mean, that's definitely kind of an obstacle that I see, is trying to like figure out a way to fully engage our listeners, fully engage the following like through social media, because that's such a obstacle that even like professionals have. And
100%.
just trying to find that right niche and how we can do it.
100%.
Yeah, and I'd say this year especially, like for me, I'm all behind the scenes. I'm just sending the emails, sending out the Zoom links. I'm just kind of the puppet master. I do it all behind the scenes. But I mean, a challenge that we have sometimes is reaching out to guests, and maybe they aren't available when we need them to be or when we hoped that they would be. So we got to be quick on our feet, think of someone else, email some other people and see who's available. But I mean, for the most part, when you reach out to guests, they're super excited to come join us. And they give us like their first time that they're available. So it's been great. I mean, there's not too many challenges as the podcast administrator. I mean, if your internet went down, that would be an issue. But right now we're doing pretty good, I think.
I think we are. I think we are as well. For me, just this year, I guess just the technicals, just, few challenges, I guess, the technical stuff. I've had my adding software crash a few times, and for anyone that has experienced it, oh God, it's a pain just to do it again, because you're spent you're the edits we do on the video and audio are fairly simple, but it's combined with the upload of the audio and the video file on the audio and the video files. Videos like for some videos that's probably about 25 to 30 minutes of your time just waiting for the upload. Audio is pretty quick, but if that crashes, then that's 30 minutes you're not getting back. So then you have to commit another 30 to get the audio done and uploaded, knowing that you probably have a few assignments on the go as well. But I mean, like, I'm at a point where, like, the technical problems, I couldn't care less about, because I love this. It takes a lot of time to get a final product from A to B. But I've been enamored in the process for almost 3 years now, just in this constant pursuit of perfection that can be tiring at some points. But when it works, when you have an episode that just that gets conversation going, when the guest gives quality answers to your questions, engages with the content, and then you release it to social media, when the audience or followers engage with it. Doesn't have to be strict listens. It could be likes, views, comments, anything, interactions on their stories, which if you've showed our podcast out in their stories, thank you very much. But when all of that comes together, it feels so good that a product that you worked on, and you have your name behind it, because you put the elbow grease to make it work. You cannot beat that. You cannot beat that. All the time that you spent on it is irrelevant at that point, when you've made when you look back and you rewatch the episode and you go, damn, that was a good show. And for me, that has been what I've tried to do every single time, because there is absolutely no way that when the season ends, that I'm going to have any freaking regrets. Because if I do, I probably let off the gas pedal a little, and I don't want that to happen. So rest assured, second half of the season, foot on the gas every single episode. That's a promise that we make from us as a team to you as a listener, and we owe it to you to deliver a good product. But I mean, other than that, I guess any final thoughts on season one, on the first half of season 3 that you maybe didn't mention? This is sort of given the floor to you guys to sort of close off things here. So anything that you didn't mention about season 3, maybe some other things that you liked, go right ahead, or use it as an excuse to shoot the breeze a little while longer.
Yeah, I mean, especially from us, thanks to all the listeners out there and the people who engage on our social media platforms. This year especially, we've made an effort to engage you a little bit more when we don't have an episode coming out that week. So if we're doing a takeover, send in a question, ask us how we do things around here, send in requests for guests, things you want to see. Everything you send in helps us make the show better for you. And you know what? We're having a great time this year. I'm happy to be here on the Pod Squad. So I'll kick it over to Jackson for some final thoughts. But season 3 is going well, and I'm looking forward to the second half.
Yeah, I think season 3 has been a success so far. Big thank you to everybody who supported us on Instagram, TikTok. We hit 1,000 likes, I think, last video. So
not a big deal.
Not a big deal. 1,000 likes so far on the page that we just started this year. So, I mean, that's a pretty big accomplishment.
First TikTok I ever made was for Speaker Council. Let me just put
that is true. Obviously, if anyone ever has any questions, anything, feel free to reach out through us through Spima Council Podcast on Instagram, on TikTok, anywhere. I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. I normally always have my phone on me. I'm a little bit addicted to my phone, which isn't a good thing, but
a little bit,
that's a conversation for a different day.
So is Will. You send a question in our group chat, Will answers you less than a minute.
That is true.
I mean, can you blame me? It's a priority, eh?
So
it is what it is.
If you ever have a question about our podcast or about anything, feel free to send us a DM. Me or Will will probably get back to you within 5 minutes. And if we don't, Maddy will get back to you within 10. That's almost a guarantee. But that's pretty much it on my end. So Will, feel free to wrap it up.
Look at this has been quite the ride in season 3, and we're looking to continue that in the second half. If you haven't tuned into some of our episodes, please do so. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts, or wherever you listen to them. Just search up Spima Council Podcast, SPMA Council Podcast, and you'll find every episode that we've done from this year to season 2, and even way back to season 1 if you really want to go in the archives there. But until season 2, and stay tuned for that, because all I'm going to say is that we're gonna try and plan some awesome guests for you, and let's just say it, you don't want to miss them. But until we get to that, for those in the exam room coming up in December, good luck. Best wishes for a successful month of November, best wishes for a successful month of December, and best wishes for a safe and happy holiday wherever that may find you with your family and friends. But until we resume production again in January of 2022, we say unto you, thanks so much for listening. Stay classy, and we'll see all of you soon. Cheers, everyone.